Hi kindergartners, it's Miss Winkle here. I teach kindergarten at Bluegrass Elementary. Hi Eagles! And I'm going to be joining you today for math, and we are going to be working on review for addition and subtraction. So let's get started. Our objectives for today, we're going to be adding and subtracting with our fingers, objects you may have around the house, different pictures, and verbally explaining our thinking. We're also going to be adding and subtracting within 10 using some mental strategies. So the first thing I want to do to get us started, I want you to stand up. And I want you to pick a movement for our warm-up. Maybe you want to do squats, you can do arm circles, cross-body punches, high knees, but I want you to do that as we count on to 10, and then we're going to count back from 10 to get us thinking about numbers and math and ready to get started for our lesson today. So when you've picked your movement, we're going to get ready to count together, and I want you to count out loud with me. Ready? From 0 on to 10. 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Awesome. And counting on is going to be a strategy that helps us when we're solving addition problems today. Next, I want you to pick a new movement, and we're going to count back from 10 to 0. Ready? 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. Awesome job. That's going to help us when we're solving subtraction problems today. All right, so to get us started, let's do a little number talk. I want you to look at the different groups of animals on the farm and just say some things out loud that you notice. Maybe you're watching this with a family member. Point out some things that you see in the picture. Are you noticing different groups of animals? How many animals? Do you see different sizes? You can do some comparing. I see 3 small pigs and 1 large pig. There are more small pigs than large pigs. Okay. And then I want you to think, do you see any addition stories or subtraction stories? I want to give you an opportunity to tell what stories you see. So I see 4, 1, 2, 3, 4 butterflies, and 1 more over here. 4 plus 1 equals what? 5, because 1 more than 4 is 5. We'll come back to this picture in just a little bit. Next, I want to talk about some key vocabulary that we're going to use in today's lesson. Again, this should all be review, but to get us thinking about the type of math language that we should be using, let's review that now. So the first word that we're going to use is add. And when we add, we put groups together. It could be 2 or more groups, 2 or more quantities to find the total or how many in all. The plus sign is the math symbol that means add. And what you're seeing here on this sign is plus. What does plus help us do? Add. We're also going to need to remember the word subtract. Now, when we subtract, we take away. And the minus sign tells us to subtract. Here's what the minus sign looks like. Okay, and whether we're adding or subtracting, we need to be sure to understand the word equals. And this is what the equal sign looks like. It's the math symbol that means the same as. It gives us a place for the answer. So one side should be the same as the other side if they are equal. All right, so first I want to start off with a little hands-on addition. We're going to start with addition, then we'll focus on subtraction, and by the end of the lesson, we're going to put it all together. And so here's what I need you to do. You might have to pause the video, but I want you to collect 10 objects, okay? Maybe that's Legos that you have, toy cars, crayons, scraps of paper, it doesn't matter, but something that you can manipulate to count with. So go ahead and get your 10 items. Okay, and I'm going to tell you a story, and I want you to use your 10 objects, the items that you have, to model your thinking. So here's how the story goes. There are 2 white hens and 1 brown hen. How many hens are there altogether? Now you may have some math fluency and automatically want to tell me that answer, but I want you to show me with your objects. So how many white hens did we have? And I've got markers as my objects. We had 2. And then we had how many brown hens? 1. So if I have 2 white hens, 1 brown hen, and I need to find out how many there are all together, I'm going to use the number sentence 2 plus 1. So if I have 2 and 1 more, that makes 3. 1, 2, 3. Looking at that on our number sentence, again, it's 2 and 1, or 2 plus 1 equals 3. Okay, let's try another one, but this time you don't need your objects. I want you to use your fingers. We always have these with us, so listen for this story. There are 4 butterflies, and 1 more joins them. So how many did we start with? 4. 4 butterflies, and 1 more joins them. So if we have 4 and 1 more joins, how many is that in all? 4 and 1 more. It's 5. 4 plus 1 equals 5, or is the same as 5. Now take a look at my equation. My number sentence has the answer on the other side now. Is that okay? Yeah, because my equal sign is still showing me that 5 is the same as 4 plus 1. So now that we've practiced with objects, with our fingers, hopefully those addition strategies are coming back to us. Let's look at a couple of pictures to help us solve. So I'm going to read the number sentence. You can read along with me. We're going to be using our math words like plus and equals. And then I want you to call out the answer, and then I'll reveal the sum or total after you've had an opportunity to think about it. So read this first one with me that we have the sheep. 2 plus 1 equals, how many is 2 plus 1? It equals 3. 2 small sheep plus 1 large sheep equals 3. All right, looking over here at the pigs, read it with me. 3 plus 1 equals 4. 1 more than 3 is 4. Next, 2 plus 2 equals, how many butterflies do we have? 4. 2, 3, 4. That's a double stack. 2 plus 2 equals 4. And our last one with the chicks. 2 plus 3 equals 5. If I have 2, I can count on 3, 4, 5. 2 plus 3 equals 5. Okay, let's build a few together. We can use a 5 frame to help us solve simple addition sentences. For larger sentences, you could use a 10 frame. But just looking here, if we have 1 plus 1, I'm thinking about red and yellow apples. How many apples do we start with? 1. So I'm going to put 1 here. And remember, if I'm adding, I'm joining groups together. So this tells me how many is in my next group. How many counters do I need to add to my 5 frame for 1 plus 1 more? I need 1 more counter. What is 1 plus 1? How many do I have in all? That equals 2. Nice job. Let's look at the butterflies, okay? If I have my number sentence that says 4 and 1 more, or 4 plus 1, how many butterflies do I start with? 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now if I'm adding, I need to add more. So how many more do I need for 4 plus 1? I have 4, so I need 1 more. What is 4 plus 1? That equals 5. And finally, down here with our flowers, our number sentence says 2 plus 3 equals blank. Well, let's model it on our 5 frame to show our thinking. How many did we start with? 2, 1, 2. And what does my symbol tell me to do? I need to add. I'm going to add 3 more. 1, 2, 3. What is 2 plus 3? That equals 5. Now, what do you notice about our last 2 problems? Look at your 5 frames. They both equal 5. Now, there are different ways to make the number 5, as long as they're equal and balanced on both sides. 4 plus 1 is the same as 5, and 2 plus 3 is the same as 5. Thinking back to number pairs should help you with that. All right, so now that we've been practicing addition, I want us to focus in for a moment just on subtraction. So again, you should have your 10 objects to the side. I want you to build this with me. It's going to look different because remember, instead of bringing groups together, subtraction tells us that we're going to remove or take some away. All right, so let's talk about our first story. If I have the number sentence 9 minus 3, here's a story that goes along with that. And you've got your objects for this that should be in front of you. Let's say there are 9 ducks. So how many did we start with? 9. Okay, I want you to put your 9 objects in front of you. And let's say that 3 ducks swim away. If we're subtracting, what do we need to do? We need to remove some of our objects. How many do we need to remove or take away for subtraction? If we had 9 to start with and 3 swim away, you're going to take 3 of your objects away. How many ducks are there now, or how many objects do you have left in your group? Take an opportunity to count that and make sure that you have your answer, your total, or the new difference. So 9 minus 3 equals 6. You should have 6 objects left. All right, let's try another one. This time I want you to join me with your fingers. Let's say there are 5 pieces of cake and 3 pieces of cake are eaten. How many pieces of cake are there now? So what did we start with? We had 5 pieces of cake. How many were eaten? 3. 1, 2, 3. So how many pieces of cake are left? 2. We have 1, 2. Now notice how I put fingers down because this is subtraction, so we need to take away. Now looking at my number sentence, I can see the minus sign reminding me to do that. I started with 5. This is what we start with. And I take 3 away. The minus sign tells you what to take away. Now notice that the equal sign is on the other side of our number sentence. That's okay, as long as both sides are true. Is 5 minus 3, 5 take away 3, the same as 2? Yeah. So 2 equals 5 minus 3, or 5 minus 3 equals 2. It works both ways. All right, so we've practiced with objects, we practiced with our fingers. Let's look at a picture. Okay, so here's my news story. There are 8 chicks looking for seeds. How many did we start with? 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Then 3 chicks run away. So they're gone. What kind of math is that? That's subtraction. We need to figure out how many chicks are left. What can I do to my picture to help me think through this? Okay, we can X out the chicks that ran away. How many chicks ran away? We started with 8 and we take away 3. So I'm going to cross out 3 of my chicks. 1, 2, 3. Because those 3 ran away. How many chicks are left? 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So 8 minus 3, or 8 take away 3, equals 5. Okay, let's look at a few more pictures. This time we're going to go a little faster. You can use the pictures to help you, or mental math strategies if you want to call it out. I'm going to read the number sentence and I want you to tell me how many are left. 6 minus 2 equals 4. If we start with 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and we take 2 away, that leaves us with how many? 4. Let's try another one. 7 minus 3 equals 4. We started with 7 blue dots, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And why are 3 crossed out? Because we had to take 3 away. It said minus 3. So if I had 7 in all and I take 3 away, how many blue dots are left? 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. All right, let's try one more. 1 minus 1 equals 0. If we start with 1 and we take 1 away, how many are left? 0. That's why we have 1 red dot and then 1 X over it. 1 minus 1 equals 0. All right, let's come back to our picture with our animals on the farm. And before we were kind of thinking about groups that we saw and just how many and doing some counting. Now I really want to connect that to the addition and subtraction we've been working on. So think for a moment about new addition or subtraction stories that you see. And then I'm going to ask you to find a story that I tell you. Okay? Do you see any groups that show 3 plus 1? Look really closely. I see that the pigs show 3 plus 1. There are 3 small pigs plus 1 large pig. What does 3 plus 1 equal? 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Do you see any other stories for 3 plus 1? The sheep show 3 plus 1. 1, 2, 3 facing forward, and one more facing the other way. 3 plus 1 equals 4. All right, let's try a subtraction story this time. Do you see any stories that show 5 minus 1? Remember, 5 is how many we started with, and then we take 1 away. 5 minus 1. The butterflies show 5 minus 1. We had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then 1 flew away. How many butterflies are left in the group? 4, because 1 less than 5 is 4. Now think back to earlier in our number talk. I told a story about the butterflies. Do you remember how that story went? I told you this story: 4 plus 1. And what did that equal? 5. So if I had 4 and 1 more joined, that would make 5. We just told it in a different way. What did we say for our butterfly story using subtraction? We could start with 5 butterflies. And how many fly away? 1. So we are taking 1 away. And what does that leave us with? 4. Those are fact families, so they're related. We have different groups, but we're showing them in different ways for addition and for subtraction. As long as we understand that addition is joining, bringing quantities or groups together, and subtraction is taking away, so we have less. If you notice any other addition or subtraction stories, I want to give you a quick opportunity to share those out. I see 2 plus 1 for the hens. What would that equal? 3. Do you know the horse story? 1 plus 1. How many horses in all? 2. Now what would that sound like for subtraction? You could start with 2, and the little horse runs ahead. 2 minus 1. How many would you be left with? 1. Awesome job. All right, as we wrap up today, let's think about what we've covered so far. So we focused on addition as bringing groups together and using the plus sign to help us think about adding. We've talked about subtraction by itself, taking away or removing parts to be left with a smaller number. We've talked about what the equal sign is and how it balances our equation. And we've done that with objects, with our fingers, with pictures. And now I want us to bring it all together what we remember about adding and subtracting, and we're just going to look at number sentences. It might be subtraction, it might be addition. You have to look at your math symbol to know what kind of math you're supposed to do. It's really important. If you're going to get the correct answer, you have to pay attention to what kind of math you're going to do. So as we finish up today, I'm going to read through some number sentences, and I want you to call out the answer. Now, as you think through that, remember to pay attention to if it's a minus sign or a plus sign, so you know whether to take away, maybe counting back, or if it's an addition sign, you know to add or join groups together, counting on. All right, so let's go through our lightning round together. Have you got your thinking cap on? You've been doing so awesome today. So our first problem says 9 minus 3 equals 6. If you said 9 minus 3 equals 6, you're correct. Now you can hold 9 in your mind and count back 3 times. So we've got 9, 8, 7, 6. I counted back 3 times from 9. And that brought me to 6. That's a mental math strategy for subtraction, is to count back. Maybe you quickly put your fingers up and you took 3 away and saw that that left you with 6. That works as well. Or maybe we're just getting these addition and subtraction facts down and we're modeling that fluency already. All right, let's try another one. 3 plus 5 equals 8. If I have 3 and I add 5 more, that puts us at 8. The way I like to think about that mentally is to start with your bigger number. So our bigger group is 5, and then I can quickly count on 3 times from 5. So I've got 5 in my mind, 6, 7, 8. Now that time I'm adding because we have what sign? The plus sign. All right. Next, 6 minus 2 equals 4. If I start with 6 and I take 2 away, that leaves me with 4. So I have 6, 5, 4. Count back 2 times to equal 4. Next, 2 plus 6 equals 8. So I have 6 in my mind, 6, 7, 8, counting on 2 times. 7 minus 4 equals 3. If I have 7 and I take 4 away, 1, 2, 3, 4, that leaves me with 3. You can also count back from 7 4 times. So hold 7 in your mind because that's the number you start with, and count back 4 times. So I have 7, 6, 5, 4, 3. Counted back 4 times because that's what the minus sign said to take away. And the last number I said was 3. And finally, 8 plus 2 equals 10. So I have 8, 9, 10, and the thing to remember as we went through those was to be sure to look at your plus and minus to know the difference. You guys, thank you for joining me for our addition and subtraction practice today. It's been so much fun getting to work on these fun strategies that you had done at school. Please know that all of us at Knox County, your kindergarten teachers, are missing you so dearly, but thank you for joining me today. Keep up the good work, kindergarten. Bye.